What is up, dear friends? How is everybody this fine Tuesday night? Oh boy! Big one planned as well. Wait for a few of the regulars to filter in. And then we'll get going. Will, how are you? What's the good word? A lot of teams already off the board, which is nice. A dozen gone. Extended series, hobby. That's our main feast. We also have OPG Platinum and OPG Value packs in the break tonight. Will, you and I starting us off. Wait for a couple of others and then hopefully get into our potty. I didn't even do the tags. Let me do those quickly. All right. I'll get a few of those courtesy tags going. Pretty well, Will. Pretty well. Arch, how are you? We are a little bit late to the party getting some courtesy tags up. Too busy watching the figure skating. That sounds about right. So we're just doing a few of the courtesy tags now instead. Why not give Mr. Beast a tag? Who saw Mr. Beast all over whatnot? Tag Siobhan, Chaba. Tag all our regulars. Phantom. Sports. Oh well. Get a few of these tags going, and then we can get into our potty. No time like the present, though, so why don't we get started sooner rather than later? And we'll see how we go. All right. Down to the news desk. There's a bit to get into this week, Will. NHL players returning to the Olympics, of course. The trade deadline buzz. Another goalie fight. Olympics over everything. We're going to have a look at the power rankings. Have a look at the standings. And our tips, which would regularly be for NHL tomorrow. Instead, we're going to have a look, TJ, at the Olympics. And try and tip some games there. The trade deadline is heating up, though. And the Rangers, they are happy to make some moves. Vincent Trocheck generating significant interest across the league as teams look to bolster their depth. Panarin was traded to the LA Kings by the Rangers on Wednesday and signed a 2-year, $22 million contract. Has an average value of $11 million next season, Bergs. Jamie says won't happen. It won't happen. Let's get rid of them Rangers. And chat a little bit about the Olympics, which have started. They are underway. The women's games are already going. The men's start on Thursday, our time. And after a 12-year absence, players are officially back in the Winter Olympics at Milano Cortina 2026. A defining moment for the sport. Some would say the men's Olympic hockey tournament is now best on best, roughly 150 NHL stars skating, reigniting one of international hockey's most storied rivalries Canada versus the USA. Jamie says Vinny stays. Austin Matthews, captain. William says that is a joke. Speaking of the US squad, they do feature a rare brand of brothers. Two sibling duos, in fact, Brady and Matthew Tkachuk, Jack and Quinn Hughes. Some rare chemistry to the lineup, Stacey. Sidney Crosby named the captain of Team Canada, returning as a veteran leader and gold medal contender. Pity pick for the captain. Meanwhile, Sweden names Gabriel Landeskog as its Olympic captain. Another noteworthy comeback for the Avalanche forward. Speaking of comebacks, how about them goalie fights? How about them goalie fights? What about this one? 2 in a couple of weeks. Vasilevsky says, it's time. Come here. Bruins and the Lightning. After 6 years of no fights, we see 2 fights in a couple of weeks. Pat on the bum. Job well done. Moisty. Another goalie fight. 6 between drinks. And in more Olympic news, even beyond the NHL domestic news, the return to international play frames much of the week's narrative that we're talking about. Stories exploring veterans chasing their last medal opportunities. How about Connor McDavid in Canada, the centre? Premier offensive talent, elite at both scoring and setting up his teammates. Generational player, teamed up with Sid, the kid, Croz. 2-time Olympic gold medalist and national team leader. He's that clutch experience, leadership, big game poise. Y'all are hating on my boy Austin Matthews, but he's the captain for the USA and one of their primary goal scorers, elite shooter. Must watch in every matchup. Don't listen to Jamie and Will. Feel free to make offers on teams in the break, though. The Tkachuk brothers, the forwards as well. Dynamic siblings, gritty, physical, scoring options. Their chemistry and edge of attack play make them pivotal in the move forward. Let's get the Olympics off the board and talk a little bit about the rankings that are in the NHL. We are, of course, now on the break for the Olympics. But heading into the Olympics, the last week's been crazy. Jay Cutler of the NHL. That is rough. But my power rankings are interesting in when we get to the standings per division as well. Power ranking number 1 is your Colorado Avalanche. They continue to sit atop the NHL hierarchy. Virtually uncontested. Elite offense, lockdown D. Generational talent from net to blue line with a points percentage north of 75. They have defined the season so far and should be the favourites. Tampa Bay Lightning remain in 2, firmly in that runner-up spot across the power polls, thanks to one of the most sustained runs of recent success, including that home winning streak and a high-octane attack that keeps them in every game. Veteran savvy, postseason experience, they look good. Tampa Bay in the conversation. What about them Hurricanes? Sliding in at number 3. Riding that consistency wave. They're disciplined. Structured system. They frustrate their opponents. Every season we talk about the Canes being good and not getting over the hump. Is this the season? They're stingy. Behind them, clubs like Minnesota, Buffalo, and Detroit. Buffalo, I mentioned last week, or last fortnight, on an absolute wagon, Brandon, and they still are. I mentioned in my preseason predictions that the Sabres would be the breakout team and would go all the way. Not like Jay. And I'm starting to like it a little bit more. But the standings look like you can see on screen right now for those that are following along on Whatnot as the NHL hits the Olympic break. It's been a tight race across all four divisions, particularly the Atlantic. Tampa Bay has surged with one of the league's best records. Montreal, Detroit, and Buffalo right on their heels. The Leafs have won 3 in a row, but still can't work their season out. Over in the East, the Metro has Carolina setting themselves apart atop the group. The Penguins and the Islanders locked in a tussle for second and third. The battle for the playoff seeds in the division is wide open. Columbus have won 9 of their last 10. They're surging as well. Meanwhile, the Rangers are trying to lose, trading away everything that makes sense, onion boo. The wild card in the East is the Sabres and Bruins currently. Over in the West, in the Central, Colorado sits out front with that dominant point total. Minnesota and Dallas, though, relentless contenders, ready to pounce when play resumes. The bottom half of the division remains, let's say, in flux, with several teams jockeying for every point. This is going to be savage, this division, come playoffs, given that the top 3 are all also leading the league, meaning one of them's going to go home real early. They would ordinarily look towards the end of the season and the last series of the year. But we're potentially going to have 2 of the best 3 teams playing each other in the first round. Over in the Pacific, Vegas has a slim lead, followed by the Oilers, Kraken, and the Quacks. They're all within striking distance too. This division is all over the shop with Vegas. Only 3 regulation wins in their last 10, but still somehow out in the lead. Also includes the league's worst Canucks. The wild card over in the West is the Ducks and the Mammoth, Utah. But we would normally and ordinarily tip some NHL games next, but given that the Olympics are on, Will, we have to go to the Olympics for our predictions, and we'll go to the first 8 games. It's Thursday and Friday. Chef, how are you? The games are all over the shop in terms of times, very, very early and very, very late. Depending on which way you want to look at it. Chef's probably awake during those times anyway. But there are games on Thursday, Pseudo, and the games on Friday also. Puck drops for the men's Olympics with Finland and Slovakia starting off. And you'd think that with Finland's pro depth versus Slovakia's youth, high tempo, early test, but Finland surely wins that by 2+. Sweden against the host nation, Italy. Well, they'll feed off that crowd energy, but Sweden are going to absolutely rort them. Sweden comfortably in that one. Switzerland versus France. The prediction is all Swiss experience and defense likely tilting this one in their favour. Look for a tight game, but Swiss team should pull ahead late and edge out France. Friday sees Canada versus Czechia. And Canada's NHL star power and depth here is going to be a statement victory. They will mark medal ambitions by dominating, I'd say. USA get underway against Latvia. A strong core of NHL talent as well. You'd think USA get the job done there. Germany versus Denmark will be fun, but Germany will outscore them. Sweden get going straight away after Thursday back-to-back up against Finland. Both in a back-to-back, I should say. Classic rivalry, that one. Disciplined defense, elite goaltending. Let's take Sweden. Just. And Slovakia versus Italy. I hope Italy get on the board somewhere, but it's not going to be against Slovakia either, I don't think. I'd take Slovakia easily, although the home crowd will fuel them on. And with that, Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining in to the podcast part of the show.